All right, welcome back to the final game of day 3 here at Flat Track Fever 2026. Just in case you've forgotten, my name is Mike the Monk. I am going to have the pleasure of calling for you, and this game is Gas City Infernos up against Chinook City, the Natural Born Thrillers. We're going to do the numbers. 00 is Dodger Balls. 002 is Panic. This is Inferno, by the way. 007 is Tuppy. 08 Bash and Bones. 14 is Kitty Catapult. 15, Everton. 24, Russian. 29, Sorry Not Sorry. 41 is Amy Gotcha. 44 is Howabunga. 5 is Case Lamia. 55, Carnage. 58, Kevin Braken. 67 is Optimus Rhymes. 681 is Mexicutioner. 45 is Scream Soda. And last but not least, 83, Blue Crackham. And on to playing in white, the Natural Born Thrillers. 0102 is Addis Slam. 180, April Sours. Number 20, Kamikaze Coco. 259 is Nemesis. 27 is Murderous Muffin. 308, Nap Attack. 33 is Marvelicious. 506, Vicious Vi. 640, Cinderfella. 710, Peacemaker. 713, Is He Dead? 747 is Wrecker. 88 is Downhill, 101 is Craftermouth, and 911 is Wolfie. That is our two-team lineup. We have a couple of minutes to go before we're ready to hit the track. And then we're going to get our final game of Flat Track Fever 2026 underway here on the West Legal track number 2. Once again, thanks to all the ref crew, the NSO crew, the technical crew, everybody else who helped put today and this whole weekend together. This is our final game here on the Legal West Legal track number 2. Thanks for joining us. I hope you've been here the whole weekend. Also going to be joined on the mic by James. James over there in the booth. Say hi, James.
Thank you very much, Mike. I'm excited to be over here. This is my 6th game of roller derby ever, so this is super exciting. I want to say thank you very much for everybody for bringing me in here, for teaching me how this wonderful game works. And I'm still shocked every single time by how impressive these athletes are and how fun everybody's having. You know, I've called a lot of different sports, but I think this is probably the one where the competitors are having the most amount of fun. So thank you all very much for having me here.
We are just waiting for that clock to tick down until we get this game underway. The skaters are on the track, the refs are on the track, everyone's in position. We're just waiting for our fabulous timekeeper, Tanya, over there, to tell us when to start. And that is the 30-second whistle, telling the skaters to come to the track. Well, they're already there. So we have two jammers up on the track. April Sowers is jamming for the Thrillers and Dodger for Inferno. There they are under starters' orders. And they're off. Dodger breaking through first, picking up lead for Inferno, our first lead jammer. April Sowers still stuck at the back of the pack. Dodger now coming around, approaching the pack. Picking the outside line. April Sowers through in a scoring position as well, but Dodger's fighting for those points. Finds a gap but gets shut down, but takes those 4 points and puts them in the bank. First 4 points on the board for Inferno.
Quick shout out here to some of the sponsors. Jam Line, that one's sponsored by Trail Appliances, and the Pivot Line when they get over to there. That one's by WFTDI Canada. Both the penalty boxes sponsored by Genuine. She's a ref around here.
Next two jammers are up. It's Kamikaze Coco for the Thrillers and Bashin' Bones for Inferno. Bones getting recycled to the back. Coco getting recycled as well. And a star pass for Inferno. That is Amy Gotcha with the star on the helmet for Inferno, but lead going to Kamikaze Coco, who is through the pack. Look at that. Calls it off just as he came out of the pack. 4 points on the board. And an official timeout being called. I think we got to get the scoreboard up to par to catch up.
Looks like we've got a official timeout here while the officials are having a little bit of hydration break there. The Zebras are having a meeting of the minds. The track name is by West Legal. Big shout out to those guys. They managed to sponsor both our tracks, so give them a little bit of love if you get a chance, if you ever need any of their services. The raffle has already happened, but I should say at least the names of some of the donors. The Carriage House, that one's just down the road. Devon and Lang, Valmira Delights, Callaway Park. Oh man, I haven't been there in forever. The Hangar Museum. Looks like we're back at it.
So our two jammers, Wolfblade Jr. for Thrillers is out in lead position, and Alarm Her for Inferno, still trying to get out of the pack, just as looking for those points. And just like that, Wolfie finds them 4 points and a couple of air miles there for jumping the apex. Alarm Her still stuck there. Wolfblade Jr. coming through, looking for more points. Alarm Her now in a scoring position. Wolfie out of the pack again. 4 points on the board. And Wolfie calls it just as Alarm Her comes through. Also hops the apex, but doesn't pick up any points.
Go through the rest of the very generous donators. We had Winsport, Creepy Creatures Canada. They're still over here just behind us making those truly terrifying dolls. I can't look at them too long. They scare me.
And we have another official timeout being called. I think we have a bit of a scoreboard issue. That's what it looks like. All the refs are congregating at the score table.
So as we figure out some of these little issues we got going on with the scoreboard, and we're back.
So I think the scoreboard is up to date now, showing 6 points for Inferno, 12 points for the Thrillers. And it looks like we should be on to the next jam any second. Kitty Catapult jamming for Inferno, April Sowers for the Thrillers. Both jammers taking that outside line. Kitty Catapult out first. April Sowers hard on the heels though. Jammer on jammer race. Look at these two go. Putting the speed onto the pack. Both jammers going to get there at the same time. Kitty Catapult says, nah, not going to happen. Calls it off. 0-0 points. On to the next one.
So if you're like me and you're on the YouTube and you've never seen roller derby before and you're like, hey, I want to get in on this. Well, the Calgary Roller Derby Association might be a great place to get started.
Dodger taking the next start for Inferno. Kamikaze Coco for the Thrillers. Dodger up at the front against the Thrillers tripod there. And forces his way through. There we go. Lead going to Inferno. Kamikaze Coco still stuck at the back. Dodger coming around looking for points. Picking the outside line, finds a gap, takes it. 4 points to Inferno. And calls it off. Kamikaze Coco came out of the pack. Jam got called. Fashion Bones taking a star for Inferno. And Wolfie for the Thrillers. Wolfie seeing a hold. Yep, takes it. There it is. Lead going to the Thrillers. Both jammers out in a scoring position. Bones chasing down the pack. But Wolfie is right there in the pack, calling it from the floor. With 3 points on the board for the Thrillers. Holding Inferno to 0. Our next two jammers are up. It's Alarm Her for Inferno. And April Sowers for the Thrillers. April Sowers pops out the front, lead going to the Thrillers. Alarmer or Scream Soda is out in a scoring position as well. April Sowers back into the pack looking for points. And April Sowers finds 4 points. Alarmer puts 4 points on the board for Inferno as well. April Sowers back into the pack, looking for more. Here comes Alarmer. April Sowers calls it. 4 more points to the Thrillers. Kitty Catapult taking the star for Inferno, and Kamikaze Coco for the Thrillers. And it is the Inferno Kitty Catapult with lead. Coco coming around as well. Kitty Catapult calls it, 2 points on the board.
As they get quickly reset, another one of the great vendors that we've got over here is Derby Girl Chocolates. They got some fun Derby and non-Derby themed chocolate. You want to get a little bit of sugar, you want to get a little bit of that kick from the chocolate. Nice and easy, just right over there. Also, all of the teams, or at least a lot of the teams, they got their own merch. So if you want to buy some team merch, rep your favorite roller derby team, grab a t-shirt.
Dodger taking the next stop for Inferno. And Addis Slam, a new jammer for the Thrillers. Dodger out first. Addis Slam hard on the heels. Addis Slam overtaking Dodger. Dodger calls it 0-0. On to the next one. Next two jammers getting ready. Wolfie, the Thrillers. And Bashing Bones for the Inferno. And Wolfie out with lead for the Thrillers. Bones also clear of the pack. Wolfie coming around looking for points on the outside. Can he find them? Trying to hold it. Calls it. With 4 on the board for the Thrillers. Quick check on our scoreboard. Inferno, 16 points after 10 jams, and the Thrillers with a 27 points are in the lead. Kamikaze Coco takes the star for Thrillers. And Alarm her for Inferno. Coco out in lead position. Alarm still not clear of the pack. Coco coming round, hitting the pack for points. No pack being called. Alarm her out in a scoring position, but Coco coming around with 4 on the board as he clears the pack. Alarma back looking for points. Beautifully come through the pack. 4 points on the board for Inferno. Coco fighting to get through as well. There they go. 4 for Thrillers. Alarma coming round looking for that depleted Thrillers pack. It's a 4-on-1. Finding 4 points for Inferno. Wolfie Coco comes through as well for 4 on the Thrillers. And Alama does it again. 4 points on the board for Inferno. Coco getting recycled and calling the jam off. There was another 3 points on the board there for the Thrillers. So after 11 jams, we have another official timeout. Our score, 28 points for Inferno, 42 points for the Thrillers.
During this timeout here, just want to say a quick shout out to all of our fans on YouTube. That's right, if you're missing the roller derby action, you can't make it down here to the rec center, you can check us out live on YouTube. Watch this match, watch the match over there. You can watch them both at the same time. Dual monitor that. Make sure you're up in the chat. You can get on in there, say hi to everybody. Malcolm XBP, thank you very much for shouting us out. And also a quick little shout out to all of the staff here making this YouTube channel work.
Next 2 jammers up, Kitty Catapult for Inferno. And that is April Sowers for Thrillers with lead. Kitty Catapult in a scoring position as well. April Sowers back into the pack. They'll give her points. Kitty Catapult coming through as well. And a jam gets called. 2 points on the board for the Thrillers. 3 points for Inferno. Wolfblade Jr., Wolfie taking the star for the Thrillers, but it is Dodger with lead for Inferno. Dodger coming around now to the pack. Wolfie still hasn't cleared. Dodger down the line. 4 points on the board for Inferno. Dodger back into the pack. Wolfie out. Now in a scoring position. Dodger putting 4 up on the board and calling that jam off.
These have been some high-impact matches the whole time around, so if you're looking for a little bit of adjustment there, we got Full Mobility Chiropractic. They're still here. They're still set up. Anybody needs to get adjusted over there. Players, fans, doesn't matter. Head on over there. Get yourself fixed up.
Official timeout being called just as we're about to get underway again. Quick check on a scoreboard. 39 points for Inferno, 44 for the Thrillers, with 16 and a half minutes left to play on the clock in this first half. And that's the end of the official timeout. Fashion Bones taking the star for Inferno. Kamikaze Coco for the Thrillers. He is in lead position. Coco back into the pack. Bones recycled. Still got a clear. Coco puts 4 points on the board. And a star pass. Amy Gotcha now with the star. Coco coming through, putting 4 more points up and calling the jam off. Opening up the Thrillers' lead, 52 points to 39 for Inferno. We're down to around about 15 minutes left in this first. Marvelicious taking the star for the Thrillers, and alarm her for Inferno. Alarma blasts into lead position. Marvelicious stuck in the back of the pack. Alarma coming round looking for points. And beautifully done backwards down the outside line. 4 points on the board for Inferno. Alarma hurrying round to trying to do it again. Tries to jump the apex, doesn't land it. Has to recycle. Marvelicious still there in the pack, and we have a penalty. It's a power jam for the Thrillers. Alarma in the penalty box. We're going to see a full 2-minute jam on this one, of course. Marvelicious finally clears the pack. Puts the Thrillers into a scoring position. Going to try and make the most of this power jam. But Alarma, being released from the penalty box, is back onto the track. 2 jammers in the pack. No pack being called. Pack has to reform. Alarma being recycled. Marvelicious still fighting for points. Marvelicious getting recycled once again. Alarma still being tied up by the Thriller blockers. Oh, getting a high block penalty as the jam times out. It's going to be a power jam for the Thrillers in the next one.
What a fantastic jam there. We're about halfway through the first half of this game. How about out here in the crowd? Do we got any Inferno fans out there? All right, what about the natural-born Thrillers?
Wolfie taking the star, the only jammer on the track for the Thrillers. Fighting the way through. Out there he goes. Lead going to the Thrillers. Wolfie coming round. Getting through the pack. There he goes. 4 on the board. Just as Alarma gets released from the penalty box, and a star pass. Slamia now with the star going on the helmet, but no time. Wolfie calls it with another 4 points on the board for the Thrillers. With just under 12 minutes to go, our score 47 points for Inferno, 64 points for the Thrillers.
Quick little shout out to that fan who was waving to the YouTube camera.
And an
We've
official
seen you.
review
Glad
being
you're having
called.
fun.
Sorry, James.
So I'll take a quick moment here during this timeout to shout out some more of the vendors that we have. Over on the other rink, we had So Proud. I got a great chance to talk with the organizer over there. So Proud is a nonprofit organization, and they take donated fabric. They take that donated fabric and they sew it up into a whole bunch of different useful and really, really inexpensive items. yoga bags for under 20 bucks, this kind of stuff that you'd see online or at the stores for up to hundreds of dollars. They get all this donated stuff. They turn around and they take all the money from that and they teach people how to sew, how to repair their own stuff. I know for myself, I got a couple pairs of pants that are stitched together with staples, okay? So heading on over there, talk to them, maybe sign up for one of the classes, learn how to repair your own stuff. Another fun one that we had over there was Untamed Fernie. This is a woman there. She's designing her own clothes. They look, they feel fabulous, and they have pockets. Yeah, that's right. Full-size pockets over there. Yeah. Yeah.
So just to update you on that official review, the Inferno were calling for a backblock penalty against Wolfie, who was the previous jammer in the last jam. The refs did not see a backblock contact, so the call stands. Kamikaze Coco taking the star for the Thrillers. Kitty Catapult for Inferno. Coco with lead for the Thrillers. Kitty Catapult fighting hard to try and get through. Coco back into the pack looking for points on his scoring pass. There he goes. 4 points on the board for the Thrillers. Calling the jam off. 0-0 points. Up next on the jam line, Dodger for Inferno and Wolfie for Thrillers. Wolfie up at the front fighting hard. Dodger coming through on the outside line, but with a forearm penalty. It is a power jam for the Thrillers. Dodger sent to the box. Wolfie now the only jammer on the track. And Wolfie going down, but a low block being called. Wolfie back up and through, being given lead for the Thrillers. Dodger released from the penalty box, back onto the track, makes it through the pack, puts themselves in scoring position. Wolfie back into the pack looking for the points. And Wolfie calls it with 4 points on the board for the Thrillers. So with 9 minutes left to play, our score, Inferno 47 points, the Thrillers 72 points. Fashion Bones for Inferno. Adeslam for the Thrillers. Adeslam picking up lead for the Thrillers. Just at the pivot line. Both jammers out in scoring positions. Adeslam going to hit the pack first. And Adeslam calls a jam off from mid-pack. 1 point being given to Inferno. And 3 points to the Thrillers. Kitty Catapult taking the star for Inferno. Kamikaze Coco for Thrillers next. We have just over 8 minutes left to go in this first half. Kitty Catapult blasts down the inside line, picks up lead for Inferno. Coco also out in a scoring position. Kitty Catapult putting the speed on, trying to get to the pack to get some points before Coco gets there. Oh, we have a penalty. It's a back block penalty. The Thrillers with a power jam. Kitty Catapult in the penalty box. 4 points on the board for the Thrillers. And Coco blasts through. 4 more points, Thrillers. Coco back into the pack. Kitty Catapult being released from the box. Coco being recycled. Kitty Catapult coming through on the inside line. Takes a hit, doesn't make it through. Gets recycled. Coco still pushing fast. Kitty Catapult blasts through on the inside line. Puts 4 points on the board for Inferno. And Coco picking up a cutting penalty. It's a power jam for Inferno now. Kitty Catapult coming through again. Dodges through, beautifully done. 4 sweet points for Inferno. It's a 4-on-2 and 3 in favor of Inferno. Kitty Catapult does it again, another 4 points. Making the most of this power jam. Kitty Catapult back into the pack for Inferno. Oh, look at that. Finds the hole in the inside line. Puts another 4 points on the board. Desperately trying to close the gap before Coco is released, which has just happened. So both jammers back into the pack and the jam times out. 4 more points for the Thrillers, though.
Bashing Bindi there, getting 16 points on that one. That's going to put them at your scorer lead right now.
Dodger taking a star for Inferno. April Sowers for the Thrillers. And Dodger is being given lead. April Sowers passes Dodger. Dodger calls it. 0-0 points. On to the next one. Just over 5 minutes left to play in this first half. Fashion Bones taking the star next for Inferno, and Wolfie for the Thrillers. Both jammers getting recycled. Start again. And again. Wolfie bringing Bones back every time. Nap attack now, recycling Bones. Wolfie up at the front, still trying to clear the pack. Bones up at the back also. Wolfie pops out first, picks up lead just as Bones comes through as well. 2 jammers in scoring positions. Both going to get to the pack at about the same time, and Wolfie calls it. 2 points for the Thrillers. So with just on 3.5 minutes left to go, Inferno 64 points, Thrillers 89 points.
As the teams are getting set up, I just want to say a big shout out to all the volunteers who make this possible. People behind the cameras, people up there helping us get the lunch, everyone at the desks too.
Adeslam taking a star for the Thrillers, and Tuffy, new jammer for Inferno. Adeslam getting recycled to the back. Tuffy pops out the front, being given lead for Inferno. Adeslam still stuck. Tuffy now coming round looking for points in that pack. And Tuffy holds the line. Beautifully done. 4 points to Inferno. Way to skate the line. Addis Slam now in a scoring position as well, but it's Tuffy coming round once more, looking for the points. And does it again. Beautifully slid through on the outside line. 4 points on the board and calls it off. Kitty Catapult taking the star for Inferno. April Sowers for the Thrillers. April Sowers for the Thrillers is lead jammer. Kitty Catapult still trying to get through. April Sowers coming round to the pack now, looking for points. And April Sowers finds 4 points. Kitty Catapult putting the speed on with April Sowers. Both jammers in a scoring position. Who's going to get to the pack first? April Sowers comes in, calls it off. For 2 points for the Thrillers, holding the Inferno 2-0.
We're down to the last minute of the top half of this round. The last match here of Flat Track Fever 2026. And thank everybody else for coming out here tonight too.
Dodger with the star for Inferno. Wolfie for the Thrillers. And Dodger being given lead, but being recycled as well. Wolfie has to clear the pack. Dodger has to get through again. Dodger struggling to get past that tripod of Thriller blockers. There they go. Dodger now out of the pack. Wolfie out of the pack. 2 jammers going to race to the pack. Well, they're going to have a little duke it out here. Wolfie hitting the pack. Dodger coming in as well. Dodger powers through. 4 on the board. Calls it off. And we are at halftime.
At the halftime, Natural Born Thrillers 97, Inferno 76. We're going to have a quick 15-minute intermission here, and then we'll be right back to some more flat track action. Just under 2 minutes left before we start the last half of the last match at Flat Track Fever 2026. If you haven't got any of your official merch left, there's still some t-shirts, there's still some stickers, there's still some patches. And they've got some of the previous year's ones too. Also, I keep seeing these players. Some of them are running around with the very fancy suit t-shirts. You can pick up one of those too if you want to look snazzy and have the guns out. Minute and 40 left before things get going. We got the Natural Born Thrillers at 97, but the Inferno, they're only 1 or 2 jams away at 76. It's still anybody's match.
That is the dog's jersey.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
If you look, Wolfie,
Yeah, he's got it. Okay.
he's right there.
Yeah. I do love how like teams share players all the time. That's really fun. That's really
Well, the dogs. So the dogs are the men's team for CCRD.
Yeah.
NBT is the mixed team. So
Okay. Cool. Very cool. And we are going to be getting set up here just about 30 seconds before things are going. A little bit of a dance-off, a little bit of a warm-up going on right at the line. That line is sponsored by WFTD Canada.
Alrighty, 30 seconds to go before we get started. And just a recap, as James said, score sitting at 76 points for Inferno, 97 for the Thrillers. Thrillers playing in white, Inferno in black. We have 2 jammers on the line already. It's Kamikaze Coco for the Thrillers and Bash and Bones for Inferno. Just waiting for that clock to time down. And then our wonderful timekeeper here is going to blow the whistle for us. Any second. There it was. And they're off. Kamikaze Coco makes a break out of the pack, picks up lead for the Thrillers. Bash and Bones taking a Coco back into the pack, taking the outside line, looking for points, finds 4 of them. Coco coming round once again. And Coco blasts through on the outside, finds another 4 points for the Thrillers, taking the Thrillers just up over the 100. And a cutting penalty, so it's a power jam for Thrillers. Bash and Bones in the penalty box. Coco putting another 4 points on the board, coming through to try and do it again. Oh, nicely done. Another 4 points for the Thrillers. Making the most of this power jam. Coco does it again on the inside line. This time 4 points on the board. Bash and Bones released from the penalty box. Coco back into the pack. Finds another 4 points. That's a 24-point jam right there for Kamikaze Coco. I think that's the high point jam today for this game.
That's definitely the high points for this game so far, and it's going to be up there for probably top 4 or 5 for the whole game, for the whole weekend. Sorry about that.
Tuffy with the star for the Inferno. April Sowers for the Thrillers. Tuffy being given lead for Inferno. April Sowers still stuck in the pack, trying to break through. Tuffy coming round to the pack, looking for points. On the first scoring pass, Tuffy breaks through. Nicely done. 4 points for Inferno. April Sowers now out of the pack in a scoring position, but Tuffy going to hit the pack, try and get some more points before April Sowers gets there. And Tuffy coming down the outside line, calling it off. No points on that pass. Up next on the jam line, Kitty Catapult for Inferno, Wolfie for the Thrillers. Wolfie out of the pack with lead. Kitty Catapult also out in a scoring position. Wolfie coming round to the pack looking for points. Kitty Catapult speeding fast to the pack. Wolfie sees him coming and calls the jam off. Three points for the Thrillers, holding Inferno to 0. Next jammers are up. Dodger for Inferno and Addis Slam for the Thrillers. Dodger on the outside, picking up lead for Inferno. Dodger back to the back of the pack on his first pass for points. There they are, 4 on the board for Inferno. Addis Slam also now in a scoring position, but Dodger coming round for a second pass if he can make it. And calling it off just as Addis Slam comes into the pack for one more point for Inferno. New jammer up for the Thrillers. This is Wrecker taking the star for the first time in this game, up against Bashin' Bones for Inferno. And it is Wrecker with lead for the Thrillers. Bones out of the pack as well. Wrecker coming round looking for a first pass. And Wrecker out of the pack at the front, calling the jam off. 2 points for Inferno. And 2 points for the Thrillers as well. Five jams in a score. 87 points for Inferno, 126 for the Thrillers. Alarmer taking the star for Inferno. Addis Slam for the Thrillers. Alarmer with lead for Inferno. And Alarmer comes through the pack, puts 4 on the board for the Inferno. Alarmer back to the pack looking for points. And a star pass for the Thrillers. Alama coming through, calling it off with 4 points on the board for Inferno, holding the Thrillers to 0.
"22 minutes left, only 31 points separating these two teams. Lots of game left, and they're setting back up."
Kitty Catapult with the start for Inferno. Wolfie for the Thrillers. Kitty Catapult getting bounced around up at the front, getting recycled. Wolfie also being recycled. Both jammers got to go through again. And it's Wolfie pops out first, picking up lead for the Thrillers. Kitty Catapult also out in a scoring position. Wolfie now back to the pack, looking for points. And calling it off before Kitty Catapult gets there. 4 on the board for the Thrillers.
So if you're in the YouTube chat, you're new to all of this stuff, we keep hearing the word recycling. Recycling is when one of the jammers gets pushed out and they have to run all the way back behind the person who pushed them out. And if you're quick, you can take them back almost the whole length of the track.
Kamikaze Coco with the star for the Thrillers. Dodger for the Inferno. Coco powers through inside line at turn number 1, picks up lead for the Thrillers. Dodger getting recycled. Kamikaze Coco back into the pack. Dodger out the front in the scoring position. Coco blows through on the outside line, puts 4 points on the board for the Thrillers. Watching Dodger and calling the jam off as Dodger gets to the pack. Holding Inferno to 0 points again. Addis Slam taking the star for the Thrillers. Bashin' Bones for Inferno. "30 seconds in, no lead yet." Bashin' Bones comes through, gets lead. And Addis Slam handing the star over to Wrecker for the Thrillers. Bashin' Bones back into the pack, looking for a points pass. Oh, there's a penalty. It's a power jam for the Thrillers. Wrecker also getting a cutting penalty. So it is the Jammer musical chairs. There goes Bashin' Bones. Wrecker's going to serve out a really short penalty. Bashin' Bones back onto the track. Wrecker being released already. Bashin' Bones getting recycled. Wrecker's in the pack. Getting held back by the last line of defense from Inferno, but breaking through. And that is our jam timed out. 2 points being given to Inferno.
What a hard 2 points that one was to get. Quick shout out to the penalty box sponsors. I mean, we love that they sponsored them, but we hate seeing the players in there. That is the ref, Genuine. They were the sponsor for the penalty boxes and the track name.
Alama with the star for Inferno. Wolfie for the Thrillers. And Wolfie comes out first with a no pass, no penalty. Does not get lead. Alama is lead jammer. Wolfie getting round to the pack. Alama coming into the pack. At the back, Wolfie being held up at the front. Both jammers getting held up by some great blocking. Wolfie breaks through. 4 on the board for the Thrillers.
Quick little official timeout there, just making sure everybody is good to go. Gonna have a little zebra meetup here in the middle of the match before the players get back on the track. Got about 16 minutes left. Both teams have got their buckets now. Inferno at 101, Natural Born Thrillers 138.
Next 2 jammers are up. Kamikaze, Coco, and Kitty Catapult. Kitty Catapult sees a hole on the inside line and takes it. Gets lead by turn number 1. Kamikaze Coco recycled to the back just as Kitty Catapult coming back to the pack on scoring pass. Kitty Catapult pops through the pack, puts 4 points on the board for Inferno. Coco now out in a scoring position, chasing down Kitty Catapult. Both jammers now on the scoring passes. Kitty Catapult calls it. 2 points on board for the Thrillers, 2 points for Inferno. So as we head into the second half of the second half, Inferno with 107, the Thrillers with 140. Taking the next star for Inferno, April Sowers for Thrillers. April Sowers blows down the outside line and picks up lead for the Thrillers. Dodger out fast, chasing down April Sowers. But April Sowers going to get to the pack first. Picks an inside line, blows through, calls it off. 4 points to the Thrillers, 1 point for Inferno. Panic taking the star for Inferno and Wolfie for Thrillers. Panic with lead for Inferno. Leaving Wolfie in the pack. He's now out as well in a scoring position, but Panic's going to get to the pack first. Pack speeding up, putting on some speed. Panic catching up. Wolfie comes into the back of the pack at the same time. Panic calls it off. 2 points being given to Thrillers, 3 points to Inferno.
as they're getting a reset there. Just a big shout out to everyone for coming on out here for Mother's Day. Thank you all very much for spending this Sunday with us. Turns out we might have a couple family members here playing on the opposite teams of each other. It's going to make family dinner a little awkward tonight.
Alama taking the start for Inferno. And Addis Slam, who is our lead jammer for the Thrillers. Addis Slam back into the pack on a scoring pass. Alarm her coming out, but taking a hit and getting recycled. 4 points on the board for Addis Slam and the Thrillers. And Addis Slam does it again. 4 more points for Thrillers. Alama in a scoring position finally. Addis Slam back into the pack, looking for more points. And Addis Slam puts another 4 on the board and calls it off. 1 point for Inferno. April Sowers and Kitty Catapult are the jammers to watch. Kitty Catapult blows down the inside line, picks up lead for the Inferno. April Sowers also out, skating fast, trying to catch. But Kitty Catapult going to hit the pack first. There they go, picking the outside line, trying to hold it, calls it from the floor. 1 point for Thrillers. And 3 points for Inferno. Inferno desperately trying to claw back in this last 11 minutes. A score 116 to 159 for the Thrillers. Up next is Dodger for Inferno and Wolfie for the Thrillers. Dodger up at the front, pushes through, picks up lead for Inferno. And Dodger back into the pack, looking for some points. Takes that outside line, puts 4 of them on the board. Wolfie taking a hit to the outside. Dodger coming around again. Wolfie now out of the pack. Oh, Dodger being given a 30-second blocking with the head penalty. Wolfie in a power jam for the Thrillers. And Wolfie dodges through. 4 points on the board for the Thrillers. Lead lost, so we're going to see a full 2 minutes. Wolfie back into the pack. No pack being called. Wolfie gets let through. 4 points on the board for Thrillers. Dodger released from the penalty box. Dodger blows through the back. 4 points up there for Inferno. Wolfie does the same. 4 for the Thrillers. Dodger's back into the pack again. Blows through once more. 4 up for Inferno. Wolfie does this. Puts 4 board for the Thrillers. Dodgers back again. And our jam time's out. Another 2 points for Inferno. And a timeout being called by Inferno.
We're going to take this time out to say a quick shout out to the vendors. They're packing up, but we want to say thank you very much for coming on down here. None of this would be possible without the lovely vendors who help us out here. Milo Lab, they were here on Friday and Saturday. They had on-site treatment for massage and chiro. Move More Osteopathy. Didn't learn this until this weekend. Osteopathy, chiropractic, very different things. Osteopathy, more of a full body performance thing. Chiropractic, more involving your joints and your bones. Nerd, over in Rink 1. Nerd was super busy, keeping everybody's skates going. We heard the grinders, we heard the angles going over there, and they had everything for you. Phoenix Fudge was here as well. I managed to pick up some of those, the great tasting samples, and they had some really cool art over there as well. Untamed Fernie, I mentioned them a little bit earlier. All of their work features some local art, and all of their stuff has some really huge pockets. I know that's a big selling feature. The Queer Gift Co. was over there as well, selling some great t-shirts.
Team timeout over. Kamikaze Coco for the Thrillers. Panic for the Inferno. Coco being given lead for the Thrillers. Panic getting recycled. Coco coming round on a scoring pass. Panic out in a scoring position as well. Coco getting held up by the Inferno blockers. Panic now back into the pack. Both jammers getting recycled. Coco once again Coco having a hard job of getting through this time, and it's a power jam for the Thrillers. That was a forearm penalty. So 4 points for Coco and the Thrillers, and he calls it off. It's going to be a power start for the Thrillers. The only jammer on the track on this one is Marvelicious for the Thrillers. Marvelicious getting recycled. But getting through this time, up lead for the Thrillers. Panic back on the track, being released from the box. Oh, just like that, gets through on their initial pass. Marvelicious back to the pack, looking for points on a scoring pass. Panic coming round to the pack as well. Marvelicious taking the hits on the inside line, calling it off with 3 on the board for the Thrillers. 2 up there for Inferno.
Just under 6 minutes left. This game is still within anybody's grasp. You having fun out there, fans? All righty.
Llama with the star for Inferno. April Sowers for the Thrillers. And April Sowers picking up lead for the Thrillers. And it is a high block penalty against the Llama, so it's a power jam for the Thrillers. April Sowers on a scoring pass, putting 4 on the board. Pack waiting for April Sowers to come through. Starts moving. April Sowers dodges through, puts another 4 point on the board for the Thrillers. Alama being released from the penalty box. April Sowers putting another 4 points on the board. Alama with the initial pass done. April Sowers back into the pack on another scoring pass, calling it off. With 3 points on the board for the Thrillers, holding Inferno to another 0. As we head into the final few minutes, the clock is under 4. Kitty Catapult taking the star for Inferno. Wolfie for the Thrillers. Wolfie with the lead jammer position for the Thrillers. Kitty Catapult also completed an initial pass. Wolfie going to get to the pack first, though. And Wolfie calls it off. 2 points on the board for the Thrillers. Kamikaze Coco with the star for the Thrillers. Dodger for the Inferno. And Dodger picking up lead for Inferno. Kamikaze Coco stuck in the pack. Dodger coming around on a scoring pass. Dodger getting recycled. 3 points on the board for Inferno.
Quick shout out to the YouTube chat. Kitty, you've got a real big fan out there on the YouTube chat, so shout out to you.
Amy Gotcha jamming for the first time for Inferno and picking up lead straight off the line. April Sowers hard on their heels, though. 2 jammers racing to the pack. Both jammers coming through almost at the same time. Amy Gotcha first out with 4 on the board for Inferno. April Sowers with 4 up for the Thrillers. Amy Gotcha coming through on the outside line. 2 points being given to Thrillers. And 3 points to Inferno with an official timeout being called. Well, that clock stopped exactly on 1 more minute left to play. We're closing out this game. Final game of Sunday here at Flat Track Fever 2026. Power jam for the Thrillers. Add a slam taking the star. Amy Gotcha in the penalty box for Inferno. Addis Slam pops out, picks up lead, of course. Amy Gotcha being released from the penalty box. They have to do their initial pass. Oh, look at that. Way to go. That is probably the final apex jump of the day by Amy Gotcha, putting themselves into a scoring position. But it is a power jam for Amy Gotcha. 4 points on the board. Addis Slam heading into the penalty box. Our game clock's winding down, but we have got 1 minute left on the jam clock. Amy Gotcha coming through, looking for the last minute points. Trying to hold that line, but getting recycled. Amy Gotcha going to try and do it again, get those last points up there if they can. Picking the outside line. There they go. 4 points on the board for Inferno. Addis Slam being released from the penalty box. That's the power jam over. Amy Gotcha back to the back of the pack. Addis Slam with 4 points on the board for the Thrillers. And with that, it looks like we are on an unofficial final score. There is the final whistle of the final game, Day 3, SummerSlam 2026. 154 points to Inferno, and our final winners with 209 is the Natural Born Thrillers. So, first off, we're going to get the Thrillers to do a lap of honor. So come and give these skaters a high five if you want to come up. This is the final time for SummerSlam, Flat Track Fever 2026. Too many competitions. Here they come, the Natural Born Thrillers. And then don't go anywhere, keep it going for Gas City Inferno. We are going to grab some MVPs for the final time. our MVP man. Okay, so for Inferno, your MVP blocker is number 67, Optimus Rhymes. And your MVP jammer, number 41, Ami Gotcha. And for our final winners, the Natural Born Thrillers, your MVP blocker is 259, Nemesis. And with great pleasure, the MVP jammer, number 20, Kamikaze Coco. All right, everybody, one last time, put your hands together, make some noise for these two fabulous teams, the Natural Born Thrillers and Gas City Inferno. And with that, Flat Track Fever 2026 comes to a close here on the West Legal Track number 2. Thank you for joining us. Thanks to everybody who helped put this weekend on. Thank you for being here in the audience. We've loved having you. Hopefully we'll see you all again next year. My name is Mike, and I'm out.